Let's go to question number 5. This is from Dave and Becky, who say, "Hi, Pastor Mike. In view of the magicians in Exodus," oh, and hi, Dave and Becky. In view of the magicians in Exodus potentially getting their power from Satan, can Satan/demons heal? Are these potentially healings that don't last? It's a really good question. I've pondered this myself. So the magicians in Exodus that they're referring to, for anybody who just doesn't recall off the top of your head, we're talking about how Moses went to Pharaoh and he did these various things to demonstrate the power of God. This was not only with the plagues that came upon the Egyptians, but even on the small scale. Like he stood before the Egyptians, Pharaoh's magicians, sorry, forgive me. And he was using making these commands. God commands this, God commands this. And Pharaoh's like, who's your God that I should listen to him? Pharaoh has his own gods he thinks protect him. And the magicians throw down their I think it was Moses first. He throws down his staff and the staff turns into a serpent. And then the Pharaoh's magicians throw down their staves. Their staves become snakes also. Now, what's interesting about this is Moses' snake ate the other two. So this is kind of a little small scale version of exactly the whole big thing that went on between God and the Egyptians there. It was, there's spiritual forces that are going on there, right? We're not sure in every case how the magicians did their thing. We know with Moses, it was just a pure miracle and it was from God. In some of their cases, it just says they did it by their tricks or by their methods, and we don't know for sure. Like when they tried to turn water into blood, did they use trickery or did they actually transmute it somehow? So they're an interesting example. At least some of the stuff they did seems like it was probably done through spiritual powers that would probably not have been theirs, but have been demonic forces trying to feed a pagan religious system. And so, this is where there's power in the darkness, so to speak. The demons are real, the demonic realm is real, and there's real impact they can have in this world. When Satan has permission to attack Job, he actually can cause things to happen. He doesn't heal him, he hurts him, he brings him sickness. Now, is it possible therefore, is it possible for Satan to bring healing? It seems possible to me. One of the scriptures that comes, and I don't know if I have all the right answers on this, but as we're just trying to think biblically about things here, one of the verses that comes to my mind is in Revelation, where it talks about this, the wound that the Antichrist gets and how it seems healed, right? That he sort of overcomes in a way that's sort of mocking overcoming, kind of like the way Jesus did overcoming death. This is like a fatal type wound. That seems to imply something there. So the consistent thing I see in scripture, when you have the encountering the powers of darkness and the power of God, is that the powers of darkness are lesser. They're lesser. This is consistent, whether it's the demons trying to ruin someone's life or something like that. Jesus coming and delivering them, and then the demon is cast out and the person is set free. The power of darkness is always lesser, and the power of darkness is always bringing harm in the long run, causing harm, even if it brings some measure of what seems like good at the time. There's some kind of harm in the long run. So all that being said, let me come back to your question now. Can Satan heal? It seems at least possible. I don't know of a scripture that would dictate that he can cause illness, but he couldn't heal in any way. It would seem like he wouldn't have the capacity for healing that God does. He obviously doesn't have the capacity for healing that God does. And when the kingdom of Christ encounters the kingdom of Satan, it's the gates of Hades that will not stand. And so I would expect the Christian in that scenario, generally speaking, as long as they're not compromised in their walk and stuff like that, to prevail and demonstrate the power of God more so than someone else who's using the power of Satan. So I think that was something I'd expect. Also, scripture talks about lying wonders being done by the enemy. So there's another phrase there, lying wonders. Well, the idea of wonders is exactly that. It's kind of something, maybe not healing, but something that makes people go wow, that just seemed like it was powerful beyond human means. yet it was misleading and taking people away from God. So yeah, I'm sure there's more questions you guys have as I bring this up, but at least there's some thoughts to mull over slowly and patiently.